Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to do a garden tour, April garden tour. I'll show you what's been going on now at the end of April, what my outside garden is looking like, what my seeds indoors are looking like. I have been working on some other stuff, but I've been under the weather the last week, and so I need more time to record and edit those videos. So I figured something like the garden tour shows you the latest updates, but also gives me time to work on those other things for you. So right now we're making a coffee and then we're going to head outside. Let's go outside. Okay, it's actually a little bit cold to be drinking an iced drink out here. So I'm going to set it down and we'll come back to this when we head back inside. So this first bed over here, when we walked in, we don't have anything growing here yet. This is actually a cilantro plant from last year, which is the only thing that the chickens didn't eat down. So we're leaving this as is. I'm probably going to pull it up though. But we're going to start from the back of the garden, walk our way up. And over here in our little alleyway that we created for perennials, I see that they are coming back. Like you can see over here, I don't remember what plant this is, but this is here. And I believe this over here is another one. And there are a lot of weeds, but here we got our lavender going again, which last year we had it in a big pot and it did nothing. It had less than this for the entire season, and we transplanted it into the ground and now it's doing really good. So that is great to see. But we're going to pan over to our garlic bed, and these are doing so well since we removed the cover from here. They are growing beautifully nice and tall, and I think it's actually time to fertilize it again. So as I'm out here, I'm also going to take mental notes of certain things, which I should probably write down. But we're going to see. Oh, I think there was an animal in here. Something dug a little bit over here. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. So one of the things I discovered is these sprinkler heads we had put in last summer. We put in our irrigation system. And I think that over the winter I have to remove the stakes and heads because they are clogged. Some of them, I did my best to fix them, but you'll see soon why I think that I should be removing them from the garden and only bring it back in the spring. But all of these are growing nice and tall. I think all of this bed is one variety, and I think the back of this bed is another. So I have 2 or 3 varieties. I don't even remember. I have it written down in my book, but I didn't bring it out. I should probably come out and label it so that I know. So all of this, and I know till about here is one variety. So I don't know if it's a third variety. I don't know if this is a second variety or it's still the first variety from the other bed, and this is the second variety. But we have all of this growing, and I see that there's some weeds that I have to pull, so I'll have to come out maybe later when it's a little bit nicer. In this bed we planted some onions. We transplanted these. You might have seen it. I can link the video for you. And a couple days after I transplanted these was going to be freezing overnight. So I ran to the store. I got some heavy duty plastic and we covered it. And I see that this bed is actually doing a little bit better than the one that I could see from closer to my house. But they're still readjusting to their new home, and they probably need a fertilization as well. And over here, last summer we had teeny tiny tomatoes. They were so tiny, like really, really small. And it was so hard to harvest that in the middle of the season I just gave up and a bunch of them fell, and I have so many tomato plants coming up here. I wonder what this doesn't look like. Maybe it is tomato. But we had a rosemary plant over here that was doing very good throughout the season last year, but then the chickens, I guess, ate it up throughout the winter. So I'm gonna have to get another rosemary plant, and I guess I'll just put it right into the alleyway over there for all the perennial plants that we have. Okay, this bed still empty. This bed we had planted carrots and lettuce. Now the carrots I know takes a long time to come up, but I don't see anything yet. I think this might be our first over here, if you can see it. But if anything comes of it, I will be very surprised, because I realized a few days after I planted the seeds that most of these sprinkler heads, for some reason this bed is the worst, they work, but for some reason the water doesn't reach till the edge. So I don't know if the seed stayed wet enough to be able to produce anything, because from when you plant it, you get it wet, it needs to stay wet until they germinate. So we're gonna find out what happens. As for the lettuce, which they should have been bigger at this point, and it looks like maybe something ate it. No, I can see the lettuce coming up, not all of them. Yeah, I have here 1, 2, 3, 4 of this one. So the lettuce is coming up. It's just taking a bit longer than I would have expected. I'm guessing because of those real cold temperatures that we had. Again, I should come out, reseed more. I'm going to put more lettuce on the other side so that we have a constant succession of them. And we'll see the difference of planting them a little bit later after all of that cold. Now this bed I showed you when we walked in, nothing here yet. This is our next bed. And as you can see, a lot of these onions are bent over from the plastic, still trying to recover. Oh, so you see most of the ones that fell over are over here at the end, and this is what I see very close from my kitchen window. But hopefully they recover and they give us some beautiful onions. Now in this bed, on this edge we have planted is zucchini and then carrots along the edge over here. And again, I don't really see anything yet. We're gonna have to try again. I think that cold front really just choked whatever wasn't growing yet. As I'm editing the video, I realized I forgot to show you one thing over here. So last year, over here, we had some sage growing, and apparently it's a perennial in my area because a bunch of them are coming back up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them up. I am going to transplant, I think, a few in there in the alleyway. I'm also going to plant some in my landscape because it is supposed to be deer resistant. So as a protection, I'm going to plant it in here so that if the deer eat it, I still have sage for the following year. But Otherwise, it's just going to be my landscape. And like that, I have space over here for annual plants. Another thing I forgot to say is that I think next year, for perennials, I am going to cover it with something to protect it from the chickens so that they don't eat it all up, like the rosemary, so that I still have it for the following years. Over here, we got some more garlic, and I think that this over here is another garlic, so I'm going to leave it for now. We'll see what happens. Could be just the garlic fell in there when I was planting all of these over here. And over here we got all of our radishes that we had started. Waiting for them to get nice and big before we can harvest them. So this is it for the outside. Let's go inside and I'll show you everything that's been going on over there. Before we head inside, I want to show you this. This is a garbage can full of compost. We had this in a pile on the grass, and my husband wanted to smooth out the property. He wanted to do some projects around the house. So he took all the pile of compost that we had in the grass and put it in here. I used this compost to start my last set of seeds. And as you can see, there's some green stuff growing in here because it was just in the middle of the property. So last season when we were doing like the last few grass cuttings, weeds might have fallen into this pile of compost, or just throughout the winter some seeds might have fallen in here, and you'll see that we have some stuff growing in those pots other than the plants that we want there. So indoors we have so much going on over here. I think I'll start from the bottom, make my way up. So this bottom tray, we have peppers and eggplant, and they've gotten so big. Oh my goodness. And they don't fit under the light anymore, and this shelf has the most space from the top to the bottom. So I moved it down here even though it doesn't have direct light. But they're doing so good that I think it's fine. And the funny thing over here, apparently, according to ChatGPT, this is a corn. And I don't know how, but instead of a pepper, we got a corn. I just wanted to show you guys, but I'm not planting it because I have just the one and I don't have the space to grow a lot of corn. And corn you need to have a bunch of so that they pollinate properly. So here is one of our trays that we started the last time. And as you can see, there's lots of green, but only these taller ones are actually the ones that we want. So I might come out here and trim all of this back so that they don't grow too much. Or I might just, when I transplant, to do what I did for the onions, where I washed away all the soil and just plant the plant with the roots. This one over here didn't germinate yet. There's just a lot of these green things growing. And over here we had restarted some Carolina Reaper peppers, but nothing's growing yet. And all of these are tomatoes, a bunch of tomatoes, which I was very late to start, but they're fast to grow, so I'm not that concerned that it's going to take a while for them to get to transplant size. Here we got some more peppers, which these are still very small. These are also peppers. They're doing good, not as big as the first tray that I showed you guys. This is some cabbage. This is some snapdragon. They're doing so well. And because I didn't have a lot of germination from my variety from last year, I decided that I'm going to let everything grow, and we're going to transplant however many we need. We're going to choose the best looking ones, and those are what we're going to transplant into the garden beds. Oh, and I didn't look at these for a little while. Eucalyptus. They're doing so good. Wow. Amazing. They actually all need water. I'm gonna have to water it after this. Okay. Next row up, we got more peppers. And as you can see, they're going in, they're touching the light. And this is why I had moved the other tray down to the bottom shelf. Some celery, which is thirsty. That's why they're falling down like that. But they're also doing really, really good. Over here, we got some more peppers that we started later. And maybe I should transplant them so that it can grow bigger. The aster mix, I see I have just one coming up. But the yellow aster, I have a few more. And then, let me get a step stool to be able to see up top. Okay. So this is another tray of things that we started with the compost that was outside. And all these over here on this row are dahlias. Over here on this side, we have a mix of a bunch of different things. Which we have kale. This one has kale, loofah, and cauliflower. Over here we got some basil. This is going to be broccoli. And this is some more basil. I have two different varieties of basil from two different companies. And this is some more peppers. Not peppers, tomatoes. So we have lots going on here. Very exciting to be having all this going on inside. And in just a couple weeks, we will be able to transplant all this outside and have a full garden outside. And I'm excited. I'm so excited for this year's garden. So if you want to see how all of this goes, the transplanting, the growing, the harvesting, and what I do with all of this, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.